So then how, when yogis, I'll go back to yogis, when yogis are meditating, what's actually happening in their chakra system that is opening up or leveling up their frequency to the point where they can start to access more and more of this universal knowledge? Because from my experience talking to near-death experiencers, there has been many of them that they go in there and they just ask a question and it just is answered. Or they get downloads of oh, that's what quantum physics is. Oh, that's all of mathematics. Oh, that's all of that. And it's all in there. They can't bring it back because our processor can't handle it. But they bring back moments of it or clips of it or little things of it.
Insights.
Insights, but the brain literally can't grasp it.
But that's why it's so important, because you can if you study the quadrivium and you know it well.
Correct. But then with a yogi,
like Sri Yukteswar, he is a good example of this.
Yes.
Holy science, right?
Yeah.
So he brought forward a lot of knowledge and information that was very scientific, but it was couched in the context of spirituality.
Correct. But from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, is when a yogi or an ascended master or an avatar of some sort gets to a certain level, they're literally hooked up to the internet of the universal universal internet. So in other words, our iPad or our computer is limited, but when it hooks up to the internet, it's unlimited.
And completely. So what is it that changes in them?
Yeah, what is it and changes in them? Is that true? Is what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
100% true.
Okay.
100% true.
Okay.
So you could think of like your spine as a meter. So think of it as a meter, and it's probably about a meter as well.
Okay.
Think of it as a meter that you can use for metrology, for measurement of things. And the more base you are, the more judgment you carry.
Okay.
So you can think of this as a judgment love meter. So as you go up higher and higher states of consciousness, you're moving more and more towards states of love. The highest is love, right? Bucky Fuller, you know who Bucky Fuller was?
Name sounds familiar.
Buckminster Fuller was a famous architect, geometer,
yeah.
right, and polymath. And he says that love is metaphysical gravity.
Interesting.
So love is the thing that binds the universe together, right? And maybe that's why it's the darkness of the universe, because we don't understand it. We think that darkness is the absence of light. It's not. Darkness is the absorbed condition of light. It's the absorption of light, not the opposite condition of it. If we turn all the lights off in here, you did it right before. You did the, I'm not going to do it right now.
Yeah.
I won't even say the word.
Yeah.
But you said a word that starts with A-L-E-X-A.
Yeah.
And then, it's like you can literally turn everything off.
Correct.
Right, instantly. If we did that right now, right, there's still light in the room. We don't perceive that light, right? Because our eyes are not tuned to be able to see that light.
Whatever leakage is in, what you mean, light leakage, or?
The very first light in the universe is hydrogen. So if there is a element of hydrogen in the room, even one atom of hydrogen, it's emitting photons of light.
Fair enough.
Okay? And it will emit those photons according to its resonance frequency. So its resonance frequency can be defined in what's called spectral reflection and spectral absorption. So I can look at the spectral reflection, which looks like a band, all black, right? And there's like 4 lines of pinks and reds and blues and violet that represent hydrogen. This is how we know. We look into outer space and we could say, oh, we see these nanometers of light, these exact combination of nanometers, then we know the composition of what's in outer space. It's hydrogen. Because those are very unique light signatures. You have a light signature. All of your body is made up of DNA, right? Ultimately, that DNA is made up of a combination of the elements that basically go into the building blocks of our DNA, which is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, right? Those are the 4. You got sulfur and phosphate, for phosphate backbone, but those are the combinations of things that could make your entire light signature. So by this token, you could look at other star systems and say, wait, so if we have a certain light signature associated with a certain star, is that star really just a gigantic as above, so below element of carbon, maybe cobalt, if it's more blue? If the star is red, might it be something altogether different, right? You see what I'm saying? Is it more hydrogen related? Are we just looking at gigantic versions of atoms? I believe so, yes. That's what I believe. I believe what we're actually looking at, the reason why our sun has its yellow color, because it's a carbon sun. We are in that dimension, which would tell you that we're in the fourth dimension. Fourth dimension is going to be associated also with carbon.
So different sun colors will determine the different consciousnesses
Yes.
of the
You
beings.
noticed how the sun, when we were young, was way more orangey yellow?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's more white, and it's at noonday.
Mm-hmm.
Notice that?
Mm-hmm.
It's changing. Because it's moving up to the next octave. The next octave is going to take it beyond fluorine. So when we were growing up, we had 9 planets in the solar system.
Yes, for Pluto.
Right, Pluto. Pluto is a planet. Now they downgraded it because they said, oh, it's too small to be a planet. They call it a dwarf planet. But, okay, it's still a planet. So what would be 9 electrons? So 9 electrons on an atom would give you fluorine. That's the last element before going into the octave jump. The next octave jump would take us into the silica range. So silicon is the center. So you've got the center of a wave is hydrogen. The center of the next wave, right, of elements on the periodic elements table, which is actually a wave of elements, is carbon. And the next one up from there is silicon. Right? Well, as we're going through our transition in our DNA, right, we're moving up to a more complex structure of elementary makeup of our atoms. That more complex structure means that that which was more carbon oriented before now moves into a more silicon orientation. Crystallization. What is quartz crystal? It's silicon dioxide.
Right.
Okay? We're moving more into a crystal form. Even our DNA is now taking on that characteristic. We're up leveling from the carbon octave. So what does that mean? Well, it means that very soon, I'll make a prediction, they will discover probably as we continue this expansion, it's as above, so below, as within, so without. As we discover and go more and more into the fifth dimensional experience, they're going to discover 3 new planets.
In our
week, I think I was without this, and I wasn't happy because